Hey, good morning, everybody. Ron here from the OneDayDiet.com. There's a quick story I want to share with you that'll maybe give you some understanding of why I do what I do, and maybe with some tips that'll help you out. Over the weekend, my nephew came to see me, him and his sister, and he's 13 years old. And I knew from talking to his dad that he'd been struggling with his weight, that he's been wanting to do some things to lose weight and get a little more athletic. I did not initiate the conversation. He did go in my office. He saw my before and after pictures and stuff. So a little later, he pulls me over and he says, can we talk? He says, how did you become you? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he says, how did you lose weight? He says, there's so many temptations out there. He said, it's so hard. I try, but I give in. And, there's not one answer that fits for everybody. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because you need that personal attention. You need the daily, and you need the one-on-one. You need someone to reach out to. You need someone that knows your struggle, what you're dealing with, because there are some fundamentals that all of us can use, but we forget. We don't know. We read something, we hear something, oh, that's a great idea, but until it becomes habit. So that's why I've committed to show up every day and be available to you to help you. Now, the one thing that I use, and I use this for other things as well, and I was able to use this with him now, if he can carry it forward. But he made a reference to Dez Bryant and Odell Beckham. And for those that don't watch football, Dez Bryant is a very good wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and Odell Beckham is a very good receiver for the New York Giants, two of the teams that he watches. So as the night progressed, and I didn't want to overwhelm him. We were talking about this and that. He was asking me what he could eat, and I was sticking to the fundamentals. And he would ask me, well, can I do this? And I said, ask yourself this: would Odell Beckham eat that? Sometimes you have to put your mind frame. If you can't see yourself as that strong, healthy, fit person, then sometimes you can use someone else's. And the example I'll give you, there was a study done by two psychiatrists in a psychiatric ward. They took some patients, gave them an aptitude test, and they scored fairly low. They gave them the test again, and they said, this time we want you to take the test like do it like a normal, rational thinking person on the outside would, answer the questions as a rational thinking person would, not as yourself. And they all scored higher. So, with that, I had him write down foods that he liked and foods that he knew were good for him, and of course that list was much longer, and he would still ask me later, he says, well, so what can I eat? And I would refer right to the list. But if you can't see it in your own mind, you're never going to achieve it. He kept giving me the typical excuses that most people do. But if we can't see ourselves, and even if you push through, because that's what happened to me, I pushed through. It took willpower and perseverance. Now, willpower, you need willpower to get through, but willpower that will not take you to long-term success. It'll wear out. You'll wear out. So it needs to become a habit. But I would. There was one time I was walking out. I was at an event, and I was in a nice night. We were in a hotel, and I was coming out of the bathroom, and there was a nice big full-length mirror, and I actually stopped. I was like, wow, that's me. And in my mind, I didn't see myself as that fit, healthy person. So what you see in your mind, subconsciously, your body will do. Because if your reality doesn't match what's in your mind, you'll think you're crazy. So your thoughts become things. I started, and this is what happens to a lot of people. They don't see themselves as that fit, healthy person. They still see themselves as overweight and a loser or whatever. So they do things that take them back to that to fulfill what their mind sees. So you really have to grasp it, but it's difficult. It's difficult on your own. There's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. He was a plastic surgeon, and he realized, he would do plastic surgery on them, fix someone's nose, and they would come back and say, it still looks the same. They would recognize, they would say, I could see that it's different, but it's still the same. So in their mind, they could not see the new nose. So he realized that a lot of his plastic surgeries didn't work. So he actually got himself out of some business because he would make people go through this routine of seeing themselves differently for 21 days. And he had a lot of people that ended up didn't need surgery because they would think their ears were too big or their nose were too big, and actually it wasn't. It was just a mind thing. It was things from what people said. So my point here is you have to get it in your mind. And one of the tricks you can use is you can use an anchor. You use someone else that's fit. And that's why a lot of times in my videos I say, show up every day. Obviously, if you want to do this, you got to be all in. Think, feel, and act as if. If you think and feel and act as if you are this healthy person that you want to be, you'll do those things. And sometimes that's difficult, so you can use someone else. For example, my nephew, I told him, what would Odell Beckham do? Would he just sit on the couch and watch TV or play a video game? Or would he go do his exercise routine, then go play his game? Would he eat the bag of chips? Or would he choose to eat something a little healthier? So find your anchor. That might help you. Any questions or comments, please add them. I know the struggle is real. It's a journey, and I'm here to help you. See you tomorrow.